What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So now I want to talk about a couple of things. So I got a little mixed bag for y'all about what I'm going to say. First thing I want to do, I want to address something that I briefly addressed already, and I'm going to move on to something else. Okay, let me first start out by saying to Daniel Dubois, I hope that he heals up properly. I hope that he has no permanent damage to his eye, and he can move on with his life. Whether hopefully he can continue to box. And I know, excuse me, that's what he loves to do. That's where his heart is. Okay, but life after boxing as well. Hopefully he's not in a situation where that eye's bothering him, and something comes back to haunt him later. Okay, listen, people. What Daniel Dubois is dealing with right now is really simple. He's had his taste of what it's like to step up in competition, and he lost to a better man. I don't need to recap the fight. We all know what happened. What I want to address is this. Daniel Dubois is a human being. Okay, he said some things that I thought was unnecessary, in regards to Joe Joyce's mom. And look, they fought. The better man won. It's as simple as that. Now, it's easy for people to call him a quitter, to call him a punk. Oh, he has no heart. If he quit this time, he'll quit again. Okay, he didn't quit the way Charles Martin quit. He didn't quit the way Victor Ortiz quit. He didn't quit the way Chad Dawson quit. Okay. When you quit, and it's not because of an injury, something that's like it's just overwhelming and you just can't take it. It's just, man, I'm getting my ass kicked. You know what? I want out of this fight. And he didn't quit the way Mike Tyson quit against Evander Holyfield, biting his damn ear purposely to get disqualified. He didn't do that. Okay, he didn't do that. He said he felt something that it just felt different, and it was, now when he took the knee, we find out he had nerve damage with the broken eye socket. Now, we remember when Sugar Ray Leonard had the detached retina, okay, which occurred in the Thomas Hearns fight. And people was, oh, man, that's messed up what happened to Ray Leonard, man. Like, he might never be able to box because of that and his vision. And fortunately for Ray, he was able to come back and continue his boxing career. And more importantly, that life after boxing, he's not walking around blind in that eye or, that, hey, I'm going to say this. It's really easy to give your opinions on something that when you've never been in that particular situation. Yes, we've had fighters fight with, Diego Corrales. We've seen him several times fight with both of his eyes closed shut. There's been many fighters. The difference between your eyes just being swollen versus you having actual damage where you want to have some kind of surgery or something, it's different. Now, I do understand the whole Warriors mentality, but let's just be real. We have a whole lot of couch potatoes, okay? We have a whole lot of Al Bundys, okay, sitting up on the couch, calling this man a quitter, calling him a punk, calling him a coward. Now, you can feel what you want to feel, but let me say this, okay? If you've never been a fighter before, okay, and even if you have, okay, but especially if you haven't been a fighter before, think about what you're doing. You're speaking on something that you've never dealt with, okay? It's like trying to explain what goes on in a particular town you've never been in, but you've heard certain opinions from other people, because that's what you're doing. You don't know what it's like to be in there. I'm going to personally say what other people may be scared to say because they're worried about people saying, oh, they disagreeing with them. We don't have to see see eye to eye on this, but I'm going to say it. I think he did the right thing. Because what he felt, he felt. What he experienced, he experienced. So it doesn't matter what other people say because it's not them in the situation. So at the end of the day, if this man ends up with something, permanent damage or something, then it's, oh man, yeah, my condolences. Oh man, No, see, understand something. It's his first fight, his first loss in his first big step up fight. And he was holding his own. It's not like, let's not get it twisted. It's not like Joe Joyce was dominating the fight. Like he was just like Daniel Dubois wasn't getting any shots in. Like, no, he was holding his own up until he started getting tired, started getting frustrated. And, Joe Joyce was the smarter, wittier, better fighter. And he kept popping that jab out, popping that jab out. He kept working on that eye, and Daniel Dubois couldn't get out of the way of it. Simple as that. The better fighter won. Okay? We know that. But now that he's had this experience, and like I said before, he's going to kick himself in the ass when he watched the fight, because when he looked and realized, man, I simply was standing there getting hit by this guy who I called slow, who I basically explained how you beat this guy, and I was so confident, but I was getting beat with basic things. That jab is so overlooked, but that jab will take you a long way, and it shows you the smarts of Joe Joyce in his corner, because they know he's not. Joe Joyce himself says he knows he's not a fast guy. He's not gifted with speed, but he lands shots. He's able to land the shots, and he's right. And guess what? He worked behind the jab. If Joe Joyce was in there throwing hooks and uppercuts and just throwing bombs and not jabbing, Daniel Dubois would have had a much easier time. He might have even won, because the jab was the key. He might, and I say might, because Joe Joyce can take a punch, and he has much better stamina than Daniel Dubois. So that's why I say he might have won, because without the jab and throwing other shots, he might have put himself in harm's way to get hit with more bigger shots that it could have accumulated and could have got him out. Let's not be stupid. Let's not act like he can't get knocked out. Anybody can get knocked out, except for me, of course. No, but I'm only serious. No, but listen, crack me up. Listen, I'm not going to bash Daniel Dubois. Okay, I'm not going to, he talked all that. No. Here's the reality. They all talk smack. Now, as far as you saying you're going to win, cool. That's what the focus should be. Leave people, family members out of it. Stop making, stop with the little insult, the personal nonsense. Like, that's petty. Now, Joe Joyce, what he's dealing with now, because every fighter, no matter who like you, there's always, for every one person that like you, there's always 5 that don't. Joe Joyce is dealing with, he only beat Daniel Dubois because he's overrated. Who's Daniel Dubois? He's a nobody. Joe Joyce couldn't beat this guy. We will see. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that. I mean, I can tell you what I think and who I think he can or can't beat. That's not important. What's important is what happens when you go. And this is one thing I always say. You can make all the predictions you want. The thing is, what the fighter's going to do come fight night, we can't predict. That's why consistency is what I go by. And when you look and say, well, Daniel Dubois was undefeated. He was knocking people out. He was, he was handling these guys. We all know that there was some things. There's always something you can see that they can work on. But that's what you expect them to do in training camp. Me pointing every detail out about what I see or what I think, that's not always relevant. That's not always what's important. That's for any fighter. So what I'm saying is, when it comes to consistency, you lean more towards that in a lot of situations, because you've seen guys fight certain guys and didn't look so good against, but that's not always the case. So like I said, I'm never afraid to be wrong, because I pick someone to win and they don't win. I'm never afraid of that. And at the end of the day, when you ask me what happened, he lost. That's what happened. So hopefully he gets a full speedy recovery. Hopefully Joe Joyce can keep, fighting and winning and do bigger things and do everything that he dream of. And I give that nod to every fighter. Even if you're fighting the guy that I want to win. Like, I wanted Daniel Dubois to win. Nothing against Joe Joyce. The better man won. Guess what? I'm looking at Joe Joyce and I'm giving him those same blessings that I gave Daniel Dubois, to say, hey man, go out there and win. Anybody fight AJ, I'm going with AJ to win. But if AJ lose, now if he lose to someone, and there's just no fighter that I just like, I don't like that guy, I hate that guy, whatever. Now, there's always somebody who just puts themselves in a position that you just like, whatever, man. But it's never personal with me. I don't care what you say about AJ. It's not me. You're not doing anything to me. AJ is his own man. He could take care of himself, right? So I could take care of myself. I'm not. You talking bad about AJ doesn't do anything to me. So, well, my thing is, there's no hate. Like, just say, for example, if Joe Joyce was to defeat AJ, now they fight. Yeah, I'm going with AJ, but I'm not going to hate Joe Joyce if he wins. Hey, I mean, AJ should have did what he had to do. Simple as that. So he's going to, everybody has their haters. They have people that's going to, criticize something. And that's that. I thought it was it was a good fight. And somebody got to win. Somebody have to lose. I don't like to spoil a fight by just sitting there nitpicking every detail. Hey, look, man, we know we saw it was a good fight and the better man won. It's as simple as that. But I have no hard feelings towards nobody. This is just boxing. I'm not the one who got beat up. So what the hell would I get mad at Joe Joyce for? There's no need, for me, I support boxing. And I want to see the guys go in there and be able to fight to the best of their ability. Now, much props, much respect to Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce. Moving on. I knew eventually I was going to talk about it. But I wanted to take it all in first and let everybody else air their dirty laundry out. And I'm going to say what I saw between Roy Jones Jr. and Iron Mike Tyson. Now, if you're a Roy Jones fan and wanted him to win, if you're a Mike Tyson fan and wanted him to win, it doesn't matter. Here's what I saw, okay? First, before we even get into that, I told you guys, okay, think about what the word exhibition is, okay? For everybody that don't understand, an exhibition was the main event of a boxing event, okay? And the main event between two iconic legends in the sport of boxing. If Mike Tyson and Roy Jones would have said to you, well, just so y'all know, it's just going to be like a friendly sparring match. Neither one of us is really going to try to pull the trigger on the other. Not to mention, in an exhibition, that's not allowed. Would you have bought the pay-per-view? If they would have came out and told you that, especially if Mike would have said it, because Mike was the favorite to win. And even though there's people that like Roy Jones, Mike is just on a different level, okay, when it comes to like how people see him versus how they see Roy. It's like Mike can do no wrong even when he's dead wrong. Okay, so at the end of the day, no, you wouldn't have bought it. Now, I'm not going to say some people wouldn't have just said, fuck it, I don't care, it's Mike. Because you have people that's like that. Yes, they would have bought it regardless. But no, for what we get, this pay-per-view did 1 million on buys. That's huge, man. And mind you, what I'm saying, it's an exhibition. You can't just get anybody just because they have a name in the sport and then the same effect would have happened. It was because of both fighters, but mostly because of Mike, the fact that Mike is coming back. Now, let me show you how they camouflage this whole thing. Most exhibitions are 3 rounds, right? Maybe 4. That's it. Now, if a shot gets through and you go down, it's like, okay, you just went down. If you get up wobbly leg, more than likely they'll stop it. Okay, if you're like, but they won't let you just tee off on a person. And if somebody gets rocked, they're just sitting there like not throwing back, they're going to stop it because their job, it's an exhibition. Nobody's supposed to get hurt in an exhibition. It's not about a knockout. And on top of that, this was charity. Now, they camouflage it. Why? How did they camouflage it? No head guards. 8 rounds, even though they made it 8 2-minute rounds. And of course, the fighters spoke against it. We hate it. We want 3 minutes, right? 10-ounce gloves. Okay? This is Mike Tyson. Roy Jones even talked it up that way. They're supposed to. They're trying to sell a fight. Okay? They're trying to sell a fight. They want you to think you're going to see, of course not, you're not going to see a 21-year-old Mike Tyson in a, a Roy Jones. That's not what you're going to see. But you're going to see two guys going there. I'm going for the kill. He's going for the kill. Of course, that's the buildup. Okay? Do you remember when George Foreman, Mike Tyson, when they was doing the interview, and one of the interviewers says, George Foreman, made a comment of concern for you guys that he don't want to see, either one of you guys get hurt. When you get a certain age, the body doesn't heal and react to punches the way they did when you were young. Something to that effect. And what did Mike say? Well, when George was coming back, nobody told him what to do, and he knew what he was getting himself into. I know what I'm getting myself into, and so does Roy. So, it is what it is. I'm coming to fight. Right? Remember, he said that. I'm gonna get back to that in a minute. Let's just remember he said that, though, in response to George Foreman's comment. If you watch the fight, let me tell you what I saw. Okay. And there's no reason for anybody to act childish and get an attitude over the truth, first off. Now, this is my opinion, but and I don't care if people get offended for me telling the truth anyway, but I'm going to be honest about what I saw. Okay? Mike Tyson held back. Roy Jones Jr. held back. Neither guy let punches go the way they even did in training. Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. both look more impressive in their training videos than they did in that fight. Okay? That explosive, how Roy, and what I told you, nothing's coming back at Mike. So it's not the same thing. Yeah, he always looks explosive on the pads. Roy looked good. Hands looked nice and fast. And all you saw was Mike rushing in and Roy grab him. Touch, touch, touch. Touch, touch, touch. Touch, touch, touch. Move, one punch, grab. I'm going to tell y'all what's funny, though. People tried to make the grabbing look like it was one-sided. No. Roy Jones initiated the majority of it, but if you look, there was many, many, many times Mike was grabbing too. They both was holding each other's arm and throwing little taps on the side. The only punches, and they still wasn't thrown with everything, but the only punches that were thrown that had a little zip on it was some of the body punches that Mike was throwing at Roy. Some of them. Not many of them. Neither guy was going for the kill. There was plenty times, if you look, Mike would rush in and he's moving his head. He throw a shot. And once he throws that shot, Roy is going to grab him. Did you see Mike make any adjustments to stop that? No. And did you see Roy Jones? Roy was throwing a no-look jab. He's moving one punch at a time, no real combinations. I can remember on 2 occasions where Roy threw a combination and something landed, but it's still, I watched him throw the punches. He put nothing behind it, and the same with Mike Tyson. This was more of a celebration, more of just homage to just, hey, have these two legends go out to where, regardless to what happened in the past, the last thing that they want you to remember is that night, which is bittersweet. Because people are complaining and pissed off that, oh man, Mike really won. Roy was doing nothing but grabbing. And also, you had this situation where, for the people that come to the realization that it was an exhibition, like they told you, it's an exhibition. So with all of the, I'm coming to win. Roy's gonna have to deal with that. I'm gonna go right at him. They're building up a fight, man. Okay. Mike Tyson bit Lennox Lewis on his freaking thigh. Said he wanted to eat the man kids. Then stood there and wiped blood off his face at the end of the fight and said, if Lennox Lewis thinks I don't respect him, he's crazy. Mike, you bit the man and said you want to eat his kids and talked all kinds of crazy nonsense and then told some dude in the crowd you'd screw him up the ass. I mean, you don't sound too stable and friendly towards the guy to me. So all of this is to sell a fight, man. Remember at the end of the fight, they asked, how do you feel about the draw? What did Mike say? I'm cool with that. Who the fuck is cool with a draw? Only way I can understand you being cool with the draw, if you truly feel like, I can understand why people think it's a draw. The next question Jim Gray asked him was, you don't think you won? Yeah, I think I won. So how could you be cool with the draw if you think you won? Jim Gray didn't say that, but I'm saying it. Same with Roy. Roy said he thought he did enough on the outside. He talked about how everything hurts. Mike's head hurt, his shoulders hurt, his punches hurt. Listen, y'all, but they were both cool with the draw. Did you hear Mike Tyson make the same complaints that the fans were making? If Mike Tyson, Mike didn't even say, hey, look, man, all Roy did was grab. I was the one bringing the pressure. Yeah, you was bringing the pressure, but Mike wasn't landing shit either, really, man. Listen, it was an exhibition, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to say it was scripted, but I'm going to say they went through the motions of how they wanted this exhibition to go. Because let me explain something to you, okay? And this is coming from somebody who gets it in still right now, still go get it in and listen to me. There's no way possible, even at 54 and 51. Mike Tyson don't have more common sense that when he comes in, okay, does his little, and then Roy Jones leans with the jab. Mike leans and does what? Throws to the body. Roy's leaning forward. His face is clearly exposed. Where's the uppercut? Where's the hook? Same with Roy. Mike does that little whoop whoop, and he does the same thing. He does that jab every single time. Every single time. Right, left, jumps in, jab, swing to the body. Every single time. Roy didn't do anything to stop it. You understand what I'm saying? And the fact that the referee kept, he gave warnings and complained about the holding. Was any points taken away? No. And also, okay, there's no judges in an exhibition. You understand? They don't look. And they just happen to have 2 belts on hand. Oh, just in case it was a draw. No. The most you could say is even the loser was going to get a belt simply because it was like, hey man, you just wanted to pay homage to you guys and let you guys go out on your terms. Put you in an exhibition, 2 legendary names that would make people forget about Antonio Tarver. That'll make people forget about McBride. Danny Williams, Joe Calzaghe. That'll make people forget about those. This was not an actual fight, bro, y'all. So when people were saying Mike won, I'm like, how? What did he do? All he did was come forward and let Roy hold him. And then Mike was holding himself. Mike was holding more on the outside. And like I said, all he was body shots. That's the only thing Mike threw that had any zip on it. And I mean, it was simply an exhibition. Nobody was meant to get hurt. And please believe when they was in those clinches, okay, they was communicating with each other at some point to, I'm not saying they were standing there making long, okay, like WWE, you throw me to the ropes, I'm going to clothesline you, and then I'm going to leg drop. No, but you better believe, okay, you good? All right, you good? All right, let's mix up a little bit, make it look, jab. Believe there was some things going on. It's an exhibition. And if Mike is as dominant as everybody was believing, why the fuck was Roy still in the 8th round then? Let's think about it. Okay? Did you see Roy Jones walk to the ring? It felt like that. Roy can't even bend his legs, man. Roy walk, he slides his feet. He walked like how when you got flip-flops on your feet and he doesn't even have any bend in his knees, man. I'm glad neither one of them got hurt. We know what this sport is, but I knew it wasn't going to come to that. I told you guys, man, I said, look, man, Roy's the favorite. I mean, of course, Mike's the favorite to win. If this was going to be a real fight, yes, he's the favorite to win. Because everybody thinks as soon as he hit Roy, Roy's going down. I seen him catch Roy with about 2 clean shots that you could clearly see like he caught him with, but neither guy was putting any zip on those punches to the head, man. They were throwing them quick, but not hard. And for people that, Mike hit so hard, if he just tapped, stop the bullshit. Look, y'all, it was an exhibition. Nobody won. It was a draw because nobody didn't do enough to win. They basically just went in there and went through the motions. They entertained for the most part, somewhat. I think just overall the event, the whole point that Mike is finally fighting Roy. And most of the people just wanted to see how long it was going to take or how fast he was going to get rid of Roy, and that didn't happen. So nobody's going, damn, Roy held his own. They're saying Mike was robbed. But they're not looking, man, that wasn't even an actual fight. That was no real fight. I'm glad for both of them. I'm glad the event was a success, at least with the buy rights and all that. But see, the pay-per-view buys and all that. But see, you know, I don't think people was pleased with the event overall, which is why when I said, like, for me personally, I'm always about the event, not just one fight. For them to keep this going forward, Mike can't go in there with another guy and call it an exhibition and then have the same going through the more people are going to, all right, you know what? Nah. I don't care if it's Holyfield. I don't care if it's Shannon Briggs. I don't care who, if it's Klitschko, who, if it's going to be an exhibition where nobody's good, because it's an exhibition. Shannon Briggs is saying, I don't want no exhibition. I want war, right? Okay. It's all talk, man. If it's labeled an exhibition and somebody gets knocked out, it was either fixed that way or you just got caught with a shot, like I said, and the ref is going to stop it. They will tell you, okay, I know these things. This is not something I'm guessing. They are not allowed to let you get hurt in an exhibition. That's just the way it goes. So that's what I saw. Okay. And mind you, the George Foreman comment, right? What did Jim Gray say to Roy? Most people were concerned that you were going to get hurt. They were worried that you were going to get hurt. Did you have any concerns? What did Mike say? Why they worried about his ass? They ain't worried about me. He fought 3 years ago. My ass ain't fought in 15 years, but they worried about his ass. Well, when George Foreman, made that same comment, you had a different answer because it was before the fight. You're trying to sell a fight. Now the fight's over, and it's like, okay, whatever. And they're just sitting there, no beef, no none of that. But people, it wasn't a real fight. It was a celebration for these two. Let them go out on their own terms. Now, Mike Tyson said they're going to do this again. He said Roy's going to be on the card too. He didn't say I'm fighting Roy again. He said Roy's going to be on the card too. If Roy or Mike fights anybody in an exhibition, that's what you're going to get, an exhibition. Like I said, if something lands and you fall, you just happen, okay, pretty much, that can happen. But the ref is not going to let you get hurt. You don't see people leaving an exhibition. Okay, where was the bruises on Mike's face or Roy's face? Right? We're talking about Mike Tyson, right? Mike and all his power, but he couldn't knock Roy out. Well, Roy kept holding because he allowed him to hold, and Roy allowed Mike to hold, and that's how they spent the hold. And also, Iron Mike Tyson said, "Ain't about knockouts. Knockouts don't mean nothing. It's about going the distance." I show people that I couldn't go 8 rounds. This is Mike Tyson saying this. Y'all believe him? So anyway, I enjoyed the fight with Joyce and Dubois. I enjoyed that card. The most memorable thing about that night, really, in all honesty, was just the fact that the event itself was put together. Nobody did anything that really stood out. But I was, listen, I'm glad for Mike and I'm glad for Roy. I'm telling you what I saw, but I'm not going to talk smack about the guys and, they ain't shit. No. We saw 2 legends going there to entertain, perform. They did what they felt they had to do that night, and that's that. As far as the undercard was concerned, well, we saw what happened to Nate, and it was just kind of funny to me the way Nate kept rushing in. And I said, Nate gonna make himself get tired, and he's gonna run into something. And the same punch that dropped him the first time is the same punch that knocked him out. And he kept, he was saying he got hit in the back of the head, which he did, but he kept running in the same way, making, rookie mistakes. So pretty much, what did you expect? So I'm not even shocked about that outcome, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, it is what it is. That's all I'm really going to say on that. And I just wanted to, start. I really wanted to touch up on, the Daniel Dubois situation. And like I said, hope that he's all right, man. And just speak about what I saw at Roy and Mike Tyson. That's all. So anyway, no hard feelings about nothing. It was what it was. But hey man, I enjoyed what I saw, and I expected what I saw. You know, I would have liked to see them mix it up more, of course, but really, it is what it is. Can't change what already happened. So listen, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next one.